Frankenstein is a film directed by Guillermo del Toro. He also wrote it. I've read the book, so I was very excited for this version. It's a very high-budgeted film. I know it's a Netflix film, but I wanted to see it in theaters, sort of get that experience, and my friend wanted to go. So there's a bit of a mixed bag with this film. We're following Victor Frankenstein. He's injured on the ice and found by a boat captain and his crew. They've frozen in the ice, and they find him and repair him. So he starts telling them about the mysterious creature that he's been chasing, who tries to get at them, but they manage to sink him into the ice to be frozen for a little while. And we get a backstory of Victor Frankenstein. It's very angsty, a lot of voice over. Oscar Isaac plays Victor Frankenstein. He had a very cruel father who wanted him to be one of the best surgeons, so he drilled him and physically abused him, and wouldn't allow anything less than the name of Frankenstein. So he had a really rough childhood where he lost his mother. However, he got a little brother named William, and then his father passed. So it's a really big prologue. There's a lot of chunk of this movie that's just dedicated to his childhood. And then we move on to his first experiment that he's trying to bring to the medical science people, where he has like a torso that moves. It's a really creepy thing. I liked how Guillermo del Toro really captured the sort of creepiness, because Frankenstein's supposed to be horror sci-fi, like the book by Mary Shelley is probably like one of the first science fiction stories, a modern Prometheus. But this film manages to capture the right look for Frankenstein's creature. The stitching, it's supposed to be like a tall creature that doesn't feel cold, and it's like really intelligent and stuff like that. It's almost like the boogeyman. But a lot of different, I think it's James Whale's movie from the 30s, sort of cemented that Frankenstein's monster could be this large green lumbering thing with bolts sticking out of its head and walking around with his arms and kind of like a big brute. But in the book, he's supposed to be lithe and very tall, and he can climb trees and hide in the mountains and very crafty. So this movie is able to at least capture that aspect. And Frankenstein's trying to, over the years, he's been adapted by DC Comics and other attempts to make him sort of a mortal badass warrior, like always running around with axes and stuff, and like kind of like working in commando sort of units. At least this movie captures that he's not meant for that. He's supposed to be a pontification of should you create life, and when you do, are you responsible for it? The movie manages to capture the amazing themes in the book, a lot of different questions. Definitely leaches into the sci-fi aspect, which I really liked, and also the creepy horror aspect whenever he brings something back to life, like a piece of a corpse or something. That's very creepy. Of course, though, the movie's not without its flaws. After we have a opening sort of act of like Victor's tale, we get the creature's tale, and we get like its sort of origin of it sort of being chained in the basement of this estate, and Victor doesn't teach it anything like how to talk, or he just assumes it's stupid, and the only contact Frankenstein's monster has is with Elizabeth. Elizabeth is the fiance of William, Victor's brother, who Victor also likes, but she keeps rebuffing him. And then Victor tries to kill the creature, but it escapes. And then that's where it sort of leaves off to the finale of the last 45 minutes to half hour of the film. It kind of bunks things up because it changes the plot. Instead of the creature trying to torment William and Elizabeth's family, it does something else, and they sort of rush things, and then it becomes really melodramatic, and they try to have this romanticism between Elizabeth and the creature, not like just pure romance, but like understanding, and it just felt really out of pocket. And then they cut to like the bookend of Victor hunting the creature and trying to finish it off and having their final confrontation on the ice. And the movie, honestly, probably should have just done the Dune treatment, where it just cuts off, because it couldn't adapt the full-on story and get to the other part of the book, creating the Bride of Frankenstein, which was a put in a second movie in the 30s, but the movie didn't have enough time. There's enough material for a miniseries, but you're stuck to a 2.5-hour screen time. They put way too much emphasis on Victor's origin and then the creatures sort of thing, and then they kind of rush the end. So the last 45 minutes to half hour of the movie is really rushed and awkward, and definitely takes liberties with the material, which I didn't care for. But everything else is great. I love the look of the creature, and it grows hair once in a while. Jacob Elordi is great performance because he's known for being that tall, handsome young guy. In this, he gets to brood and be angsty and be tormented and tortured. It's a really good performance, especially for him. He's definitely probably going to go for an Oscar run for this. Oscar Isaac's good, but he's a little bit hammy. He's really like theatrical. And Mia Goth, she's fine, but I think she's a little bit too in there, involved. I don't think she was like that in the book. And they definitely introduce Christoph Waltz is fine. He plays like the patron who allows the experiment to happen. And William's good too. He gets some scenes, but it's mainly the four of them and the creature basically have most of the screen time. There's also a great segment involving the creature learning how to speak because he hides out in an old mill next to this family that already saw him, and then he befriends the old man who's blind that lives there. So he learns how to speak and have a friend and learn what humanity has to offer, as well as what humanity can do and what nature can do. There's some great themes in here, and the film looks great. There's lots of CGI animals, but they don't look terrible, and everything feels lived in and dirty. There's like blood on the streets. It's grimy. When it rains, it's gross. Everything's very physical and very gothic, like Crimson Peak, so everything looks great in terms of that. Overall, lush, great production values, solid enough performances. I like the physical look of the creature, and the themes are intact. It's intriguing for 75% of the film, but then sort of bunks it up by the end. So I give Frankenstein a 7 out of 10.